Let's talk about activity 7.1, drawing crayons. A bag contains one crayon of each color: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink, maroon, and purple. So if we count those up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there are 8 total crayons inside the bag. A person chooses a crayon at random out of the bag, uses it for a bit, then puts it back in the bag. A second person comes to get a crayon chosen at random out of the bag. What's the probability the second person gets the yellow crayon? Well, even though the first person used a crayon, they put it back. So there were 7 in there for a little while, but that person put it back, so that puts us back up to 8 total crayons inside the bag, and white or yellow is one of them, so that gets us our answer of 1 out of 8. Okay, so now for scenario number 2. A person chooses a crayon at random out of the bag and walks off to use it. A second person comes to get a crayon chosen at random out of the bag. What's the probability the second person gets the yellow crayon? Okay, so now, what the whole point of this thought process is, and this thought activity, is to teach you the difference between independent and dependent events. So, dependent events mean that the first event has an effect on the second one. The second event depends on the first. So for problem number 1, those are independent events because the person put the original crayon back. The second pull has nothing to do with the first because the first person did not change any of the total number of crayons or the number of yellow inside the bag. The second scenario is a dependent event because not only did the person change the overall number of crayons in the bag, but the person also potentially changed the number of yellow crayons inside the bag. So our answer, what's the probability the second person gets the yellow crayon? Well, we could say it depends. It depends on 2 things. If the first person pulled out the yellow crayon, how many yellow crayons are left? Well, that's 0, and there's 7 crayons left. So that's 0 out of 7. Or maybe they pulled out the red, orange, green, pink, blue, maroon, or purple crayon. In that case, the yellow crayon's still in there, but there's still only 7. The point is, we don't know. We have no idea what that second person's probability is because we have no idea what the first person did. So, therefore, the second person's probability depends on the first person's probability. And that's your introduction into independent versus dependent events.